Alright guys, welcome to this False and Fact Sports episode, and today I'm going to be going over 5 players in the NFL draft who I think are absolute steals in the later rounds, underrated prospects, just talking about them. And number one, I have Cade Stover. The numbers aren't in any order, but so at one, first we're going to talk about Cade Stover. He is a very good blocking tight end. He lacks a little bit of technique, but he runs very hard with a big motor. When the ball is in his hands, he's going to do his best to lay his hit. That's probably his former linebacker coming out in him, considering he went to Ohio State as a linebacker. So, of course he's going to be laying big hits, and he is definitely a guy that you're going to want on your team to, have a high motor, not scared of contact, and is very fun to watch him almost like a fullback, and that could become a role for him in the NFL. But he does not have very fast long speed. That is one of his issues. That is something that he could work on. It's just being faster and being a bit quicker. But he does run very hard. And back to the blocking side of things, he does block very well, but his technique is just a little off, and that's a little bit of a knock on him. But because blocking tight ends in the NFL are being a little bit more harder to come by, I think that just with his blocking upside, it's good to have him no matter what. The next guy we're going to talk about is Marshaun Reid out of Western Michigan, and he has a great frame and size for a defensive end here. He is very strong, and he can really push. His best move is the bull rush, but he is not quick and twitchy, and he does run kind of stiff, and he does move kind of stiff. And when he doesn't win the bull rush, he's kind of out of options. You might see in the highlights here. I remember watching a bit of him earlier. I noticed that on a play, he goes to bull rush and he gets stopped on it, and, he doesn't really make much out of it. And that's just something that, is going to hold him back here and could hold him back, like I just said. But I would say that he does compare a bit to Zadarius Smith. And in the bull rushing part, I guess you could see a little bit of Aaron Donald, but he's not. Aaron Donald has a lot other stuff that he can utilize. But this guy's best move is definitely the bull rush. Like in that highlight, you see, the quarterback, if I had to guess, their coverage was locked up, so the quarterback had to try to make something happen. But it still took him 4 or 5 seconds to get there. But he will be a late round steal, and he is definitely a guy that you should want your team to pick up. The next guy on the list here is Tez Walker, and something that's hurt his draft stock is his suspension. And when he was playing last year towards the second half, his production was a little bit lackluster, and he definitely does have skills, but his draft stock did get hurt because of the suspension and a little bit of lackluster production last year. But he is very quick and fast, explosive, especially laterally, side to side, and he has very good yards after catch. When he catches the ball and he gets space, he can definitely move, and that's something that you're going to want to look for in a guy like him. He does struggle a bit against the press, though, and I will say that that's something that, you get stronger corners in the NFL, and some stronger guys are coming up. You're going to want to have guys that can beat press, but as long as you don't line them up on that side, should be fine, even though defensive backs pick matchups a little more than the offense can control. But I think that Tez Walker is very good, and he can be very good in the league if coached up correctly, if he does fix the issues. And his route running is a little weaker, and his contested catching, catching in contact, jump balls he can do semi well, but catching in contact he does lack a little bit on. I've seen him compared a bit to Mike Wallace, and I can't quite disagree there. Our next guy up on the list here is Cole Bishop, safety out of Utah. And he is a very versatile defender. He plays at all levels. He can rush, you're about to see it here. He can blitz well and step up. And he's a very versatile defender. He is very good at tackling as well. and he does struggle a little bit, being stiff in coverage. Um, that is something that you could knock him on, but his tackling is very well as well. And, that's just really something that you want out of a safety, but he could even, he is very versatile. He's not quite linebacker size, but how they just move him around is very good, how they used him at Utah. And if you can get an NFL team that does the same, I would definitely, say that that is just an absolute steal. I would compare him maybe a little bit to Jamal Adams, just with his versatility, being able to step up. There's a different safety I saw him compared to, but just watching him, right there, he can really rush and stuff, and that's something that, is a little bit schemed, but he can do it. So I would compare him just a bit to Jamal Adams in that sense. But let's go ahead and move on to our next guy here. So our final guy here is Tanner Bortolini, and it's an offensive lineman, but he is good. And he is going to go in a bit of the later rounds, but he plays center at Wisconsin. And a knock on him is his shorter arms. But I feel like, if you're good enough, arm length and stuff is just not going to affect you as much. And it's something that we have seen good offensive linemen with shorter arms, but we've also seen some guys kind of fail just because of their size. Now, a very positive on him is he is always looking to block someone. He's very aggressive in that sense, and he is not afraid to, no one's quite there. Let me go help out this guy. And that is something that he does very well, and something I praise him on. He is a little bit on the weaker side. I wouldn't say he's weak. I'd say he's just not the strongest guy. So, some bull rushes would probably get through him, I could imagine. Just being a little bit weaker. But he is very agile, too, and I think that that does almost make up for it. And he did have a weaker Senior Bowl. I could see him being knocked on that, too, and it wouldn't quite surprise me. But that's going to wrap it up. Also, NFL comparison for him is Ted Larson. I think I forgot for Cade Stover. Cade Stover's is Dawson Knox. But that wraps it up now. Sorry for missing those guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys do come back and watch more. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment on your thoughts down below. Have a good day.